Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Oh my gosh, we are on bonus day 3 of why didn't you make $100,000 or the amount of money that you wanted to make? And how do we make sure that it doesn't happen again? And so part of what I've been talking about is communication. And so yesterday I spent a lot of time just talking about how do you connect. And I really turned into stop using email. And then today, as I was preparing for this lesson, I literally got chills because the content and the gems and the things that I'm going to talk about in the next 10, 15 minutes can change everything about how you interact with people, everything about how much money you make, everything about becoming a different person, right? Because if you're trying to become the person you need to be in order to do the thing that you need to do, some of the ways you've been doing things have to change. And some of the things that you really don't know how to do, or the things that you concentrate on, and the things that people have been telling you that is the most important thing to do, like understanding your content and knowing what you're talking about. And I'm not saying I don't want you to know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, as you are presenting to people, or as you are spending time with people, and as you are trying to connect with people, there's some things that you need to do different than probably what you're doing before. And when you think about the greats and you think about the people that you want to listen to, they have a way of connecting with you that inspires you to take action. And we're going to talk about that today. And I can't wait to do it. I hope you're enjoying this. I know I am. And as I'm putting it together, and I'm concentrating on making sure I give you good content, my goal is to actually connect with you the best that I possibly can. And so when we think about the power of connection and communication, that's what we're going to do. Is we are trying to connect with other folks, and right. So you want to create a emotional impact, right? People may forget what you say. People may forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. I was talking to my college coach today. He called me, and one of the things that I know, it doesn't matter. I have zero clue. 30 years ago, or 40 or 35, well, however long ago it was when I was in college, 83. So 40 years ago, when I started college, and I had probably one of the greatest men in my life that's impacted me. I have absolutely no idea what he said. I have absolutely no idea what some of our workouts are, but I know how that man made me feel. I know that when I was around him, I felt better. I felt bigger. I felt like I could do anything. And when you're communicating with folks, one of the keys is making sure that you do that. So it's a lasting impression, right? It's a memorable connection. It's beyond whatever that content was that you were trying to do, right? And so, when I think about like a thermostat or a barometer, and you think about, and the reason I'm looking over, sometimes you may see me, but you're looking at the thing anyways, it's because I have two screens up. But when I start thinking about a barometer, when you go into a room and you need to read the room, right? Before you pull out your papers, before you pull out your content, you need to read the room. That's what a barometer does. And so you need to act as if the room is a barometer because it measures the environment and tells you what that environment's at. And so many times we go to sit down today I went and met with a couple at a Panera Bread. And they came in and there was a whole bunch of commotion that was going on. There was things that were going on around us at the table they picked. I just said, you know what? Why don't we go back to the back of the room so we can have some quiet so that we can talk? Because you're probably going to tell me things that you don't want all these people listening to or all these people hearing what you're going to say. So that was me thinking about, I could have pulled out my material. I could have started talking about content. I could have seen the distractions around them. I didn't want them facing the door where people are coming in and out, right? Because every time somebody would come in the front door or go out the front door, then they would be looking and being distracted by that. So when we moved to the new table, I arranged myself so I was facing the door, they were facing me in a wall, right? So that's the barometer. Then the thermostat is what you then need to do is you need to actively change the atmosphere and what's going on. So you either goes up or down. Your energy needs to come up or your energy needs to come down. And your role is to shape, as the person who's communicating right now, right? To shape the emotional tone of whatever that room is that you're in. And so when people make decisions based on emotion and then they back it up with logic, and we'll talk about conviction later, but one of the things that you need to make sure you do is if you need to raise your voice or you need to quiet down, it's something that you do as a thermostat that controls the room. And you need to be consciously thinking about that as you're presenting. You should know yourself well enough that it doesn't really matter the words that you say, right? It's how you make them feel. How you make them feel. How you make them feel. That's where those lasting relationships continue to grow and continue to go on. And so when we're adding value through communication, right? How much time are you? Here's what I would say: how much time are you preparing for the part of your presentation that is not content? Wait a minute. You mean I have to not only prepare for what I'm going to say, but I have to prepare for how I'm going to inspire somebody, how I'm going to help somebody focus, how I'm going to help somebody connect. Absolutely, 100%. You need to spend your time to deliver a connecting and deliver and connect with your audience, right? And so, as much time, I would say even more time preparing for how am I going to connect? What are some of the words that I'm going to say? How am I going to look? How am I going to dress? How am I going to, all these body language things, because words are just a small, less than 10% of communication is your actual words, right? So if you're spending 90% of your time to communicate with less than 10% of what matters, then you're spending the time in the wrong place. You're spending the time in the wrong place. So I want you to add value through your communication, right? Let me go back. Okay. So we kind of talked about, content mastery. So I just talked about that a little bit. I messed up on the slides, right? How much time are you preparing for the part of your presentation that is not content? Delivery, practice, refined tone, body language, and facial expressions, right? You try to smile, right? You got to smile during presentations. Some of the worst presentations of the people in the most monotone presentations are the person who doesn't smile. People love to see you smile. And then there's audience engagement, right? And so now we're adding value through communication. Your goals of communicating in action. So you want to focus on value-driven communication. Prepare the person what they need, what their needs are in mind. So when you think about prepare with the person's minds in need. So what do I want them to know? And what do I want them to do? And this is where we start thinking about action, right? Before you ever get to the presentation, you start thinking about what do I want someone to know? And then what do I want somebody to do as a result, right? If you're sitting across, in all communication or all presentations, there's something you want them to do. And if you forget what that action is, and you forget that that's even involved in the process, then you're just wasting your time. People in all things, there's always something you want somebody to know, right? And then there's something you want them to do as a result. You have to have that in mind. Do you want them to love you more as a result? Do you want them to take action on the things that you're presenting to them? Like say that you're in sales, so you want them to buy, or you want to, do you want them to get up, or do you want them to care about you? Do you want them to love you? Do you want them to give you referrals? What is that? If you have in mind what you want them to do, then you can steer them from there. But what is it that you want them to know? Well, do you want them to know what you think is important? Or do you want them to know what is important to them? Whoa, wait a minute. Do you want them to know what you think is important? Or do you want them to know what they think is important? And I promise you, it's the second, it's the latter. It's the one that you can steer some of what you think you want them to know. Because what's important to you is not necessarily important to the person you're talking to. And we talked about that yesterday, right? About listening and figuring out, because the impact, crucial information and insights, right? Evoke emotions that drive decision making. Well, the decision making comes from their conviction of what they believe they know and what they believe they want. Because you're trying to get somebody, if you're persuading somebody and you're in the, we're talking a lot about sales here. And the goal is that you want to uncover what they already want. I want to work with people who already want something. I'm not trying to convince anybody that this is what they need. I already know what they need. I just need to uncover it and show them why it adds value to their life. That's my job, and it makes it so much easier. And then what I want them to do, I want to inspire and to create, actions and do the behavior that I want them to do. So great communication. Let me jump to the next one here. So conviction drives action. So people take action based on conviction, not just emotion. People take action based on conviction, not just emotion. So you want people to make they're going to make emotional decisions. Hey, I love the color of that. They see that car that's in the lot and they just want to have it. Or they see that partner that, just looks so beautiful in the light of the dim light of the restaurant or whatever it is. And the emotion comes over them, right? But the emotional decisions won't last. So you have to, use, your authenticity, your passion, your credibility, your consistency in there to create that conviction that shows a person that this is something that I want to do or something I want to have for the rest of my life. This is something that is going to allow me to be able, the emotion of, let's say that you're helping somebody get a house, right? And the emotion of, this is a beautiful house. It's on a hill. It overlooks a mountain, and all the emotions of it. And I could see myself spending my entire life in this home. This is my forever home. I just love the ceilings and all the things about it. And you've gone over all that, right? So what's the conviction now is, what am I going to do? What are the memories the conviction of the memories that I'm going to have while I'm in here? And then when you get past the emotions and you get to the logic of it, can I afford this? Are the numbers going to work out? Yes. Do I need to stretch a little bit? No, I can't stretch a little bit here. Now you're showing them, now, because now they're at the emotional state, when you start showing them the logic behind it, this is why you can afford it, because I have this product or I have this thing that I can now show you how this makes sense to go along with your emotion. And when you do that and you've made that connection and you connected the emotion and you've connected with them because you've been able to tell stories about other people that you were to help to get the exact same house and the exact same things, now you're on a roll. Now you have the ability to make a huge difference in what somebody's trying to do. And so, that's a big thing is on that value driven conviction. So now you have to build trust through care. Once people know you care, right? They'll be willing to listen. And maybe I could have put this slide earlier in the thing, but I wanted to really emphasize this towards the end of this presentation is, once people know you care, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? Then they're willing to listen. So if you have to spend 15, 20 minutes building that connection with them to know that you care about them, because they don't care about that logic of the right product that's going to fit if they don't know that you care that in 10 years they're still in their house, right? But if you've built that and you've looked at things, and sometimes I'll go into a house and I'll find something that I connect with, that I connect with, that I can say we have this in common, right? So I got to show that empathy. I have to listen actively. I have to be authentic. I have to follow through. I have to offer support. I have to celebrate success. And about all 6 of those things that I just said have nothing to do with the content. And I hope you're not trying to try to do this connection through email, because if you are, oh my gosh, I think I talked about that a bunch yesterday, right? And so you measure success by action. You're not great. You are not great at this until someone else takes action. And you don't know they take action till after the presentation, till after you've done this several times, till you've gone through and you've connected with them and they're calling you back in order to talk to you. You know, after 40 years, I told you I talked to my coach today. After 40 years, we have a connection and a bond, because I know 40 years later, even if we haven't talked in a couple of years, I know he cares about me. I know he loves me. I know I love him. I know that there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. That's a connection. So no, whatever he asked, I would be on it in time and be able to do that. Do you have any of that with the folks that you're working with? And so you want to gather insights on the message of impact and clarity. You want to implement this stuff. Create results with action, and just make this thing sing and happen. And so I hope that helped today. This is bonus day 3. I'm going to continue to go until we get to, I think I got 9 of these that we're going to do. But I want to make sure, that you are connecting with people. It is so important that that is the priority over the content. All right, you guys have an amazing, awesome day. You have that emotional impact, that value drilling, the active influence, authentic leadership. So you guys have an amazing, incredible day today, and I will talk with you tomorrow.